Good morning, family, or should I say, hey, it's payday. And Team Effort Network. Hi, family, how are you doing? It's Wednesday morning. We are just flying through this week. The days and the hour, the time is going by so fast because we're doing this business the exact same way that Del Gill said it should be done, and that's by having fun. So if you're not having fun doing this business, check with your upline and find out what's happening, because you should be having fun sharing what we're doing, talking to people about these wonderful vitamin sprays, sharing the testimonies, the compensation plans, how the business is growing across the company, everything about the network you should be rejoiceful about. And because you are a part of it, well, you've dialed into the Team Effort Lifestyle Call, and this is your host, Pastor Denise McDowell, with my business partner, Pastor Del Wafer. The line is open, family. Go right ahead. Introduce yourself. Where are you calling in from?
Good morning, Mama Ify, California. God bless you all, my beautiful daughter.
Woo-hoo, Mama Ify. Hello, Mama. How are you, dear?
I'm blessed like you all.
Oh, you are blessed indeed, and it's so good to hear you this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and for bringing those blessings with you. We receive all those blessings that you're bringing to us.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep it coming, Sam. Who else is with Mama Ify now? Who else is with us?
Mitchellville, Maryland.
Who's that from Mitchellville?
J.R. Williams, Mitchellville, Maryland.
Well, good morning, Mr. J.R. Williams. How are you?
I'm great.
That's good. Good to hear you this morning. We got to get you on for a testimony.
Okay.
Keep it coming, family. Who's with us this morning? Go right ahead and introduce yourself.
DC in the house, Mr. Payday.
Okay, Robert, stop holding that. Stop holding that, Robert. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Happy Payday, Team Effort Network. Let's go.
That's right. It is payday indeed. Good to hear you, Robert.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else is with us? Is that Jesse whispering in from the Pentagon?
It is, Pastor Denise. Oh, boy, happy Wednesday, happy payday, like Robert said, and just hello to all the Tim family out there.
That's right. Hey, look, guys, I have y'all on the call. I need some help taking the equipment in the TCP tonight. Just taking all y'all there at one time. All right?
Oh, we got you back, Pastor Denise. We got you.
Thank
We
you
got
very
you.
much.
We got you.
Appreciate that. Keep it coming, Sammy. Who's with us this morning? It's Wednesday. Peggy, if you'd like to introduce yourself, go right here. I'm getting ready to mute out. Okay.
A lot of folks at work.
The conference is now in presentation mode. Your line is muted.
I have to be at work because it's payday for us on Wednesday, but a lot of us folks are really working on that 9 to 5, and you know how that can be. You got to have a team of a network to help you through that hump day, right? Yes, indeed. We do want to say congratulations to those who do receive a paycheck every Wednesday. That paycheck that comes every Wednesday, the weekly check, is actually a sign that you are sharing the business. So not only are you helping people get healthy, but you're also helping people to get wealthy, because that's an indication that you've added new business partners to your team, and your team are adding new business partners. And so that is when that weekly check comes, if you've added new business partners. But the great thing about that weekly check comes, you're going to see it again at the end of the month for your monthly residual. So like we said the other day, Team Effort is one of those companies that just continue to give and give and give. We're giving life and joy to people. We're helping to enhance their health. We're helping to better their wealth. I don't know what it is. The two things, I know one of the main things that people really want in life is to be healthy. I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day that I haven't spoken to in over 29 years. Over 29 years. And it was so wonderful to reconnect with her. We kind of grew up together, went to school together, and she's been following me on Facebook. So thank God for social media. You can reconnect with folks you haven't communicated with in years. And I was speaking with her, and she was going through all the different health conditions that she was faced with. And not only her, but her sister and her husband and her children. And it was just so good to say, hey, Kim, look, I got something you have to try. I have something you have to try. And then she went on to say, like, well, you know, I have this problem with smoking. I can't stop smoking. I've been smoking for, you know, I guess 29, 30 years she's been smoking. I said, oh, yeah? I said, guess what? I have a testimony of a gentleman that was smoking and had problems smoking until he started taking the vitamin sprays. And, of course, she didn't believe me. But you know what, family? I had it recorded. I have it on video. So I went to YouTube. I pulled up Anthony's testimony on how the vitamin sprays helped him to stop smoking, and I posted it on her Facebook page, and she couldn't believe it. So now I'm going to meet with her this weekend, and we're going to sit down and go through the vitamin sprays and talk about how we can help to enhance her health. And, of course, she's also interested in the business part. She said, well, if these vitamin sprays really work, then I think I'm going to be interested in helping to share and to promote them. So is there a business part? I said, oh, yes, it is, a business component. I said, oh, yes, it is. And we will talk about that also. So it's wonderful to know that you can, you know, meet with people you haven't seen in years, and maybe people you just met, and sit down and talk with them about their health. The people want to get better. They want to get healthier. Sit down and talk to them what's going on in their life and their health, and then offer the vitamin sprays with them, because you know what? They're going to get results. And when they get results, you know what happens? They say they're going to continue to order them over and over. And as they order them over and over, you know what you're going to do? You're going to really put them on the auto ship. And once you're on the auto ship and people start coming to them, ordering sprays through them, from you through them, well, then you can tell them, well, this could be your business. And then you introduce how they can benefit from offering the sprays to others. So Team Effort Network is one of those businesses that continue to give and give and give. So we are in the right place at the right time with the wellness industry is where you want to be. Well, it's Wednesday, and we have a biologist that comes on every Wednesday to share great things with us about the vitamin sprays, how they work with the body, how to exercise, how to eat right, all the good things that make this all work, that make it all work. So let's welcome to the call once again our biologist, Shakena Day. Shakena, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning. How's everyone?
Good morning. We are doing perfect. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Can't complain
That's
at all.
Good. That's a good report.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know we're excited every Wednesday to hear what you've meditated on and what you've studied on and what you've thought about to bring to the call. So, what are we going to take away today?
Okay. So today I want to talk a little bit about deficiencies. And I want you to ask yourself something. A lot of people, we eat all the time. We eat constantly, every day, day in and day out. But have you really realized, even though you're eating, that your body still may be starving? And I say that because a lot of times we consume things, but we may be consuming things, but there's a lack of nourishment. There's a lack of nutrition. There's a lack of nutritional value from the things that we're consuming. So I want to throw out a little statistics out there for you. According to the CDC, the U.S. population has good levels of vitamin A and D and also folate, but their levels are still low and need improvements in the areas of vitamin D and also iron. So just knowing that, you know, more than half of the general population are vitamin D deficient, you know, regardless of whatever age. So that's all ages. 70% of elderly are vitamin D deficient, and 90% of people of color are vitamin D deficient. So just thinking about that and realizing that and understanding, okay, if all of these people are vitamin D deficient, even myself, you know, and I'm just going to tell my little testimony of myself, you know, I worked in the lab, I work, you know, overnight, and, you know, at some point I started getting headaches, I started getting tired, I started getting fatigued, you know, to the point where I couldn't even after work, I would come home and try to lay down, and I would have such bad headaches to the point where it would take me so long to fall asleep. And I was actually started taking melatonin to help me relax. But at a certain point, after taking it for like 30 days or a couple of weeks, I started to realize I really couldn't fall asleep without it, and that I was at that point and I was still having headaches. And at that point I was like, okay, something has to be done. I have to find out what's going on, because this is, I know I'm working nights. I know it's difficult. And I know that it's known that most people that work night are more prone to sicknesses, things of that nature, because of your body is telling you to sleep, when you're awake, when you need to be awake to work. So I ended up going to the doctor, and talking with her, and she was just saying, well, you're perfectly fine. You're in good health. I don't see anything wrong with you. So let's try to, I guess, run some tests and see exactly, do some lab work. And I was like, okay. And excuse me. And so I was like, okay, let's do that. And so she said, okay, I'm going to do a couple of panels on you just to see where your blood level was. And at that time, I was introduced to, this is around the same time I started being introduced to the sprays. So I started asking her, okay, well, is vitamin D included in this? And she was like, no. Is there a reason why, should we include this? Because you have no other history, no family history of, cardiovascular disease or, thyroid issues or anything to actually make them want to order that for me. And so I was like, no, but can you just please add that on? And so they added it on. And sure enough, everything came back except my vitamin D levels. They were extremely, extremely low, to the point where I had to take 50,000 units, for 12 weeks consistently, and then drop down lower. So knowing that, and knowing that my vitamin D levels were so low because I had to take so many units per day or per week, I was just like, okay. So I started taking the sprays. I didn't take the actual pills. I just calculated, okay, how many units should I be taking, whatever the case may be. And me knowing that the absorption rate is a lot higher, than the actual pill, I already knew that I would already absorb, most of everything that I was taking. So I started taking that. I promise you, within like a couple of days' time, my headache slowly went away. I was able to, relax. I felt more energetic, and at that time I was taking all the sprays except the Slim. And so, that right there to me was life-changing, because I realized that, okay, I was deficient. I've been an athlete most of my life. I've trained hard. I've taken care of myself, in so many different ways, but I was still lacking in certain areas. I was still vitamin D deficient. I was still feeling fatigued because of the lack of vitamins that I was taking, or the lack of absorption that was occurring within my body. So once I, got a hold to the sprays and started taking them, I started seeing changes instantly, because my body was looking for something and searching for something. And I finally gave it what it needed. It needed vitamins. It needed nutrients that I wasn't getting from, just from the foods that I was eating alone, or the actual other pills that I was taking, trying to supplement. So just knowing that, and knowing that it's just so important. Back in 2003, it was reported that, fruits and vegetables contain fewer nutrients than they did 50 years ago. Why is that? Because of the soil. The soil has, and the minerals and the nutrients have been depleted from the soil. So 50 years ago, the soil is not what it used to be. And just realizing, understanding that, that's why it's so important that we have to supplement as well. Supplementation is just as important as eating the right things, consuming the right things. It all plays together, just as well as exercising, doing some type of physical activity on a day-to-day basis. It's so important. Vitamin D deficient can be associated with so many different things. It can be associated with fatigue, depression, Alzheimer's, heart disease, weight gain, restless sleep. we know that sleep, affects a lot of things, because it affects our hormone levels within the body. And when our hormone levels are imbalanced, and their imbalances, that can throw so many things off, as well as, our weight gain, our weight loss, that can throw that off. That can throw off, so many different things, as well as it can affect high blood pressure, poor concentration, headaches as well. One of the things that I was having. And so that's why it's so important that we're consuming what our body needs. Our vitamin D is found in almost every organ and gene within the body. So that's why it's used all over with every function in every system of the body. So that's why it's so important that we have vitamin D. Going out in the sun is just not enough. Sometimes we're going to have to supplement. We need to supplement. And also supplement with something that you're actually going to your body's going to be able to absorb, and benefit from, and you're going to see the benefits and the results from. Vitamin B deficiency. Vitamin B deficiency is so, plays such a major role in so many areas, such as anemia, neurological issues, as well as depression, memory loss, paranoia, delusions, fatigue, all of those different things. All of these things are factors associated with vitamin B12 deficiency. And, B12 is so very popular out there. Everybody's is on the go and on, aware about vitamin B12, so it's very important that, okay, well, we have vitamin B12, but we have it in a spray, and it's included with two other vitamins, vitamin 3 and vitamin B3, and also B6. So it's very important that we share that. Your body needs B12 to make red blood cells, DNA, and to do other functions within the body. Now, what are red blood cells? Red blood cells basically help transport oxygen throughout the body. And why is it? That's where you get your burst of energy, is because the oxygen is carried throughout the body. Now, the RBCs, or red blood cells, are flexible, and they can change their shape. So somebody who, is suffering from high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease, and their arteries are clogged, the red blood cells still are able to travel through those narrow passages. But guess what? When the passages are narrowed and become very small and constricted, it causes an increase in the blood pressure, in your blood pressure. But guess what? When it's trying to pass through those small restricted arteries, the red blood cell membrane begins to get damaged. And guess what? It loses its energy supply. And guess what? It eventually dies off. So that's why it's so very important that we try to help prevent that cardiovascular disease by what? By eating the right things, by exercising, all of these different things. So that way we are not suffering from cardiovascular disease, that which will play effect on our red blood cells, which will also play effect on the amount of oxygen which is being transported throughout our body, which in turn affects our fatigue or our energy level or our metabolism, all of those things. So many different things that we're issuing with is linked to something else. So it's linked. One thing is linked to something else, and so on and so forth, to the point where almost nearly every system, every organ is linked to another, some way or another. And so it's very important that we actually maintain a healthy system, and also as well as a healthy body, as well as our thought process. Glutathione is associated, glutathione deficiency is associated with, different cancers, kidney problems, liver disease, autism, all of those different things. Why is glutathione so important? Because it's the mother of all antioxidants. It actually takes the free radicals. When you have glutathione in the body, it takes the free radicals, or those damaged cells, and it escorts them outside of the body. It gets rid of them. So the more glutathione you have, the better you are, but the more free radicals you have, sometimes that glutathione that you already have in your body, it gets depleted very quickly because of the amount of, pollution and the different environments that that we come in contact with on a daily basis. So that's why it's so very important that we actually supplement. We can supplement by eating, with our kale and different things of that nature, as well as, supplementing with our cell energy. We can spray that. We can take that in our pocket, take it in our bag, our purse, whatever the case may be, keep it in our drawer at work, different things of that nature to actually make sure that we have what we need when we need it, and also gives that burst of energy as well. So what glutathione does, it carries those free radicals out. But guess what? It carries it out through the bile and the stool. And then from there, it goes outside of the body. But guess what? If you don't have a healthy digestive system and you're not regular and you don't have that good cleansing out, then guess what? It's still being built up within the body. So that's why it's so very important. And we have something that can help with that. What's that? That's the trim that can help keep your digestive system healthy. So when your glutathione is trying to get rid of those free radicals and, get it out, through your waste products, it's able to really be effective and get it out of the body because you are taking that trim daily to keep that healthy digestive system, to keep that good balance of good bacteria, bad bacteria, to keep all of that, to keep you regular, to keep you clean, to keep you feeling full and energetic, all of those different things. So it's very important that we supplement. Supplement is so very important, So, because if you don't have a healthy digestive system, it affects it affects your whole body. It affects so many areas. That's pretty much like your second immune system right there. You're healthy. You have to have a healthy digestive system. And that's what it's all about. Being healthy, thinking healthy, being active, sharing with other people. To me, simpler is better. And simpler is healthier. In our case, all we have to do is spray. In the case of consuming things that are simple, consuming things that are like vegetables, your fruits and your vegetables, those are simpler. Okay, that's healthier than a box of crackers, than the cereal that's been manufactured. Because that's more complex because it has to go through a process in order to consume. You can't just go grow a box of Cheerios, or you can't go grow a box of, whatever the case may be, candy. You actually that actually has to go through a process. Whereas you can actually take a seed and actually grow plants and vegetables. So the simpler, the healthier. That's the motto. That's the best motto to keep. Most people are overfed but undernourished. And knowing that, we have products that we can help people, change their life, take steps forward into making small positive steps, small changes, into the way you eat, the way you think, the way you, even network with people, even those that, are in this business, we can take one step at a time and say, okay, this is my goal for the week. I'm going to talk and just share. And after a while, people are going to come to you. And just like today, I dropped my son off at daycare, and a young lady, she was at the desk. She was like, so those sprays that your husband sells, do you take those? Do they work? I was like, yes, they work. I take those, and they work. And she began to explain exactly, her little experience with taking some other, supplements that didn't work, that made her gain weight, all of these different things. And, just sparking a conversation, that's what it's all about. You run into people all day long, all different types of people, but then when people understand and realize and they see you, sometimes people watch you and you don't even realize it. You're in, and that's a good thing. That can be a good thing, especially if you're all about positive, positive actions, being positive, and sharing good news, whatever it is, whether it's the business, whether it's, and people, tend to, feel your vibe pretty much, and see how you are, and see that you're easily spoken, and they can come to you and talk to you and things of that nature. They see you always with a smile on your face, or you're just easily approachable. They're more, you're able to reach more people that way. And it's always about having a positive attitude. No matter what, if you're having a bad day, always have a smile on your face. No matter what, people would not know exactly, if my day went bad or not, because I'm always the same. I'm always have a positive attitude, because guess what? That overrides and that comes out to the point where that will make your bad day turn into a good day, just by you being positive in that nature. And so that's what it's all about, being positive, sharing the good news, sharing this business, and being a leader, lead. That's what it's all about. And I'm going to close with this. Great leaders don't set out to be leaders. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role. It's always about the goal. Thank you, Dr. Denise.
I love the way you end with those quotes, Shakena. But I also love how you always bring such vital information to each call. And listening to you talk about the sprays and how making things simple and easy, it reminded me of the motto that Nell Gill gave us earlier this year, that what Team Effort is doing is making great health convenient. And that's exactly what we've done. We have these wonderful sprays and a nice convenient tube. You don't need water. It's not a pill. You just spray. You can't forget your vitamins because you can carry them with you. But, Shakena, what I want you to just say quickly before we bring on Anita Poole with our quote is how important it is to take all the vitamin sprays, because they work together. We have to have vitamin D, but we have to have the vitamin B plus the vitamin D as well. And so just how important it is that we're taking all of the sprays together. Because I know there's minerals in the Super 10, and we need minerals just as much as we need vitamins.
Yes, that's right. It's so very important. I feel that, and just knowing, I wouldn't have seen the results that I would have, because when I started taking the sprays, I started taking every last one of them. Every single one of them, because I knew my body needed vitamin D. I knew my body needed vitamin B. I knew my body needed the minerals, the trace minerals, that's in the Super 10, as well as the other antioxidants that helps with inflammation, that helps with concentration, that helps with anxiety. I knew all of these different things, like the cell energy. I knew that my body needed, something to help repair itself, to help my muscles recover after injury or after, a serious workout, and help me give me that boost of energy. So it's very important not to just focus on one area, knowing, okay, you may have signs and symptoms to say, okay, I may be deficient in this area, but guess what? We need every vitamin that's out there. We need every vitamin. It's vital, because my thing is, if you may not show signs and symptoms right now, but you still may be deficient, or you still may be low in that area. So it's very important that you're consuming and that you're supplementing, because even though you're eating things that consume, your vitamins, on a daily basis, but at the same time, studies just show obviously that, the soil is not what it used to be. The nutrients aren't there, so we have to get it from somewhere else. And it's very key and vital that we actually do it daily and stay consistent with it so we can actually see improvements. Just my thing is this, it's always, you're not going to see, I don't expect someone to see changes overnight, in anything that they do. It's not an overnight process. It's not just like, everybody's not the same. Everyone's body is different. So everyone responds to different things differently. I responded to the sprays quickly. I saw a change instantly, very quickly. Within a couple of days, I saw a change in my energy levels and how I felt, but everyone is not like that. With my husband, with spraying with the Super 10, his feet, far as plantar fasciitis and the inflammation there, he didn't start seeing changes until after a couple of weeks, the pain started easing up. So everybody is different, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. That just means that your body responds to it differently. And you may not realize it. You may not realize it, and that response may not get to your brain that it's actually working, but it's working because your body needs it. Don't get so stuck on, okay, it's the hardest thing is to, live a healthier lifestyle. It's to change what you're eating. It's to change your bad habits and to do something that benefits. Everyone always is scared about trying new things that can actually help them, versus, getting rid of old habits that are not helping them. So that's what it's all about. Stay consistent with the vitamin sprays. Consistency is the key with the trim as well. Don't look for overnight miracles. My thing is stay with it. Be consistent is what your body needs. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Shakena Day. Be consistent, family, with the vitamin sprays. Don't get off on so quick. And then once you get your results, don't stop. If you got the results, you continue on. Hey, that's a good thing. They're working. Remember, supplements ought to be taken daily. You take them every day. It's not medicine. It's not medication. You don't just take them until you get your energy and then you stop. No, you keep it going so that you can keep your energy at that level and improve your health, enhance your health, get better. Shakena Day, thank you so very much. Wonderful information. This is very easy to digest, very easy to receive. Making great health convenient, family. Basically, just take your sprays. Just take your sprays and share your story and help other people to do the same thing. Keep it simple, keep it short, like Shakena said. Take your sprays, get healthy, share with others, and help them to do the same. Great call, Shakena. Great call. Let's go out to the UK now with Dr. Nita Poole with our quote for the day. Dr. Poole, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay, Denise?
I can. Good day. How are you?
I am wonderful. I think it's going to be a very, very exciting month. I think it's going to be a very, very exciting quarter here with 10. It's a beautiful sunny day. I've topped up on my vitamin D3 outside, and I've topped up on my vitamin D3 inside with the sprays. So absolutely fantastic. So these sprays are so incredibly good. And that trim by 10, wow, that is absolutely amazing. Thanks to Maureen Smith. Maureen, if you're on the line. By the way, folks, I have lost half a stone. Thanks to the trim by 10 and the slim by 10. And what Denise was saying and Shakena was saying about be consistent, don't stop. I very much echo that. I was getting such great results. Literally, many months ago when I first took the sprays, and I made the mistake over the winter of coming off the sprays because I thought, well, let's see if I really need to keep on these. And of course, with the fibromyalgia, I did go backwards. My energy went down, my sleep, went down. My muscle pain increased, my stiffness increased, my muscle weakness increased. I wasn't so mobile. I couldn't go to the pool. I couldn't do the gym. I put on weight. My cravings went up in terms of eating a lot to try and get the energy. And, of course, I went backwards with the fibromyalgia. So, what Denise and Nakisha were saying about be consistent, and once you get the results, don't stop. Obviously, you may want to stop the slim by 10 when you're getting the results, and you may want to reduce the trim by 10 when you've got down to the weight that you want to. But all the others, if you've got a reason to be taking all the others, and part of the reason is just to have, health and well-being, basically, don't stop. And that's what I should have done, basically. Once I had got to the weight that I wanted, I should have just stayed on all the other sprays, maybe just cut down on the slim by 10. That's been a learning exercise for me, and hopefully for everybody else, that story as well. And yeah, it's all about being positive. It's all about sharing. And even if somebody's a little bit skeptical first, you've heard lots of stories about people being a little bit skeptical, and then once you explain to them that, like Denise, she sent a testimonial. Thanks to Terry Whitener, we have the calls recorded every single day, so it's very easy to send a testimonial. Really, really important. And I can't stress enough the importance of using the recordings, using the testimonials. In fact, I saw a lady here in the UK at the weekend. She came to me actually very, very skeptical. Once she left here, however, and she had lots and lots of issues, really, where I knew all the sprays were going to be absolutely great for her. But, of course, she entered very skeptical. Now, Nikisha, if you're on the line, Nikisha, you are getting famous in the UK, because when I show these sprays to people, I show somebody else talking, not me talking. I show somebody else. I'll play somebody else talking. I'll play a recording, or I'll play a video, and often I'll play Nikisha's video of her presenting, basically. So she's getting very, very famous in the UK. Now, that lady, once she had also seen some of the testimonials that we've got, she had no hesitation. She walked out with 5 sprays. She's rung me up several times since then. I obviously advised her to take it to her pharmacist, because she does have various medical disorders. The pharmacist was absolutely delighted with them. She told her, if these ingredients are absolutely amazing, if you had to get all of these ingredients, you'd only be able to get it from us in tablets, and you'd end up with 40 different tablets. And some of those ingredients we haven't even got anyway. So, that's the outstanding ingredients that are in our sprays, and to have them all combined, 90% absorption rate, much, much better than taking tablets, doesn't have fillers and binders, all natural. It's absolutely incredible. Now, this lady has rung me up several times. She's obviously going to show it to her doctor as well, and she said to me, I really would like you to be my mentor, my health mentor. Now, you wait till she actually has been on the sprays for over a month. Wait till she actually hears some of our calls. For example, get your customers, get your prospects, get your team onto these calls every day, especially get them onto Shakena's calls as well, because this is like having a health mentor, literally. And what it's all about is adding value. That's what makes us different to anyone else, basically. We add value. We add value in these phone calls, in the tips, in the training, with our ingredients, with our method of delivery with the ingredients. It's all about adding value. We help people how to actually market, how to conduct referral marketing or network marketing, and education all about the ingredients. And even more, Shakena's giving you, education about health and well-being. Now, this is priceless information. So invite your people to these calls, and they will get the benefit. And then they'll be looking to you, because they're getting more than just the sprays. The sprays is enormous. To get the sprays and the Trim by 10, it's huge. But when you add value and you show people you have access to extra value, it's like the icing on the cake, basically. And that's what happened to this lady. She went from skeptical to 5 sprays in her hand, no hesitation as she walked out, and then wanting mentorship, basically. And that is because of belief. And it's exactly as Shakena said, it's about being positive. And, what Vicky was saying yesterday, what you put out is what you attract. So, Vicky, if you can hear me, here's some quotes from Jim Rohn. I know you love Jim Rohn. So, effective communication, he said, is 20% what you know, but it's 80% about how you feel about what you know, because it's how you feel that actually communicates the most to the person who's hearing you. So if you go out feeling positive, feeling great, that's what you're going to attract, and that's what you're going to portray, and that's extremely attractive, and people will come to you. So he also said, whoever renders a service to many puts himself in line for greatness. Great wealth, great return, great satisfaction, great reputation, and great joy, he said. So give a service. That service is invite to the calls, let them hear from the leadership, let them hear from other people, because hearing from other people is what makes the difference. You're there to introduce, but when they hear it from other people, just like I showed Nikisha's video, even though I know about everything, I showed Nikisha's video so that the person coming to me could hear it from somebody else. And when you hear from somebody else, it's added ammunition, basically. So, lastly, Jim Rohn said, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And in TEN, this pay plan, you can earn a fortune. Go out there, get the job done. Back to you, Denise.
That's right. That's so family. Get out there, get the job done, making great health convenient. That's what we're offering here at Team at the Network. Shakena Day, thank you again so very much for bringing us that message on the lack of nutrition and the importance of taking the vitamin sprays every day. Family, let's not forget we're going to meet Shakena Day, for those who haven't met her, and her husband, Chris Day, that play with the Green Bay Packers NFL on Saturday, September the 26th at the East Coast Regional. Make sure you register and get your tickets for the East Coast Regional Saturday, September 26th. It is going to be life-changing. You can go to this website to purchase your tickets, www.vitaminspraysnow.com, www.vitaminspraysnow.com. Thank you for all those who've already purchased your tickets. You are ready to go. You should have received an email response to your purchase. Thank you so very much. And there's also going to be a link sent to you for you to make your reservations at the Greenbelt Marriott. Thanks to Maureen Murphy-Smith. She's gotten a very good price on your stay at the Greenbelt Marriott. So, family, thank you for being here today. Don't forget to join Don Joseph tonight, along with Lloyd Gibson, Renetta Hall, on the call. It's 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, so it's 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard. What's today? Oh, you know what? Okay, I just thought about something, family. I asked you all to help me for the TTP, thinking it's Thursday. I'm so ahead of myself. This is Wednesday, yeah, so join John Joseph tonight. Join him tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. It's the second time, at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hear more great things on what's happening in Team Up and Network. Nothing left to say but to get off this phone and get out there and go make a difference. Help somebody, help yourself. Help yourself, help somebody. Be back tomorrow morning, family, as we press the words at 15 million and Team Effort Network. Know this, you are loved. You are greatly appreciated. God bless you all and have a prosperous day on purpose. Mwah.